Go Green Television. Green Vibes, Real Lives.
Good afternoon and welcome. This is Go Green Television. Today, this great Wednesday, 28th day of May 2025. So today in our studio, we have a guest. We are honored to have a very special guest who is the managing director of TBL Go Green. So as we say, each day here in Go Green is a day of learning, is a day of creating awareness about the green nature in this journey, living green as a legacy. So today we want to have a conversation with him to tell us more about the TBL Go Green and what are their contribution to the society. So welcome very much, Mr. Vance Udoto. Feel at home. We are honored to have you today. So I would like for you to kindly introduce yourself fully.
Thank you. I'm glad to be with you and to introduce Tenants Become Landlords Go Green Limited, a limited liability company registered in Kenya. As the name depicts, we are all about tenancy and landlordship with a very special niche in the going green perspective. TBL Go Green Limited is generally focused on creating a good environment for all tenants and landlords, and to make Kenya one of the faces of such an initiative in the region and probably in Africa. So I'm privileged to be the group managing director of this company, which has various activities in the going green aspects, ranging from electric mobility to environmental restoration and preservation. We also have a lot of interest in revolutionizing the real estate so that we can have green housing solutions. We are also looking at identifying, training, and empowering all sorts of initiatives with the youth, and encouraging all of them to start having a habit of keeping green habits as they mature into their own lives. So it's a wide scope. We may not cover everything today, but over time, and those who may be able to visit our website will be able to learn more about all the other aspects of our activities.
Mr. Vance, why did you choose the name TBL, the Tenants Becoming Landlords? There are so many other names you could have used. TBL Go Green, why?
Yes, I think tenancy is a very special circumstance. It's a period in life when you're transitioning from being dependent to being independent. So when you're a child, you're just a child this is just an example, you're just a child in your parents' home. Then you become an intermediate, that's the tenancy period. But eventually you want to be a landlord, you want to be in control of your own circumstances. So not only does it apply to real estate, but you may think of somebody who is in the transport sector, but they don't own that vehicle or that tool they're using. They have leased it or they're working on behalf of somebody. That's a tenancy period. But that matatu driver, that mkokoteni rider, that boda guy, they all wish to own those things. So it's in our interest to transition these people into owning or being owners, but in compliance with the green initiatives. So tenants become landlords with its nature as a wide scope, allows us to provide a platform for everyone. That's why we chose to capture the whole spectrum of tenancy and landlordship.
So, Mr. Vance, you've talked about moving from independent to being a dependent person. From dependent person to an independent person. So, what inspired you to get into this green revolution? You could have used the theme of moving from dependent to an independent person. Just it. Why did you move into green revolution?
Yeah, I think anybody starting any activity now would be naive to ignore the fact that the world requires a lot of green initiatives to assist in correcting the ecological environmental imbalance that is causing the global warming. So first of all, I'm in the habit of planting trees myself all my life. I picked it from my parents, and I've been planting trees every time I have an opportunity. So from that and the other efforts that have come in, the electric vehicles and all the other initiatives, they are also building materials that are green compliant, which people don't know. So I have a natural fit in going green, but most importantly, I think that's where most of the opportunities lie. Not only for me as an entrepreneur, but generally for all tenants and landlords. Meaning, whether you're young or old, the best investments now are through the green initiatives. So it's a no-brainer.
As TBL Go Green, what have you been doing, like the activities to ensure that the green legacy is kept alive?
When we started, there was a lot of focus on interacting with the youth, training them on green building solutions, interlocking blocks. At some point we wanted to introduce the green cement. There are also green building techniques. So when you talk of that particular kind of youth, it forced us to interact also with the sports fraternity, because most of these people you see working during the day, in the evening they end up playing football on the weekends. So we also got ourselves into a lot of supporting the sports initiatives for the youth, so that we interacted with them. We've also participated in a lot of tree planting activities, including the launch of the 15 billion tree at Ngong Forest rather, Konabaridi, by the president. We have participated in a lot of community indulgence, cleaning and greening, just walking into an estate and energizing people to come out and clean their environment. We have participated as well in a lot of conferences, not just to participate, but to learn and disseminate the information. And that is why, for example, we have the Go Green TV as a medium for dissemination of most of this information in the electric sector, in the electric vehicle sector, which people still don't understand a lot of things. So we are then building collaborations with various partners who have seen the need to participate in going green initiatives, especially not, and most people think it's just about planting trees. It's a lot of other things, including just general awareness about cancer-causing emissions, especially in an area like Kitengela and Mlolongo. The community there, they know there's a problem, but what are they doing about it? So we now come up with programs to integrate with them to support that they do activities that can assist in global warming reduction. Yeah, and many more.
Okay, Mr. Vance, this coming week, 5th of June, we'll be celebrating the World Environmental Day. Do you have any plans, or do you have any activities put in place that you'll be doing on that particular day as a TBL Go Green to celebrate with the world?
First and foremost, we want to build ourselves as an enabling platform. So we will not be stuck to one activity.
Sure.
We would like to position ourselves as an enabler by providing a lot of information on what this day really means. So that we are not just participating by planting a tree or two, which we will do, or if all goes well by plans, probably we'll have some conference activities with the electric vehicle sector. But more importantly, is we look forward to promoting especially this platform, the Go Green platform, so that people can learn more and understand that they can have a resource center where they can come and learn more and even provide more content. So we look forward to beginning a new journey of communication on our platform as TBL Go Green. We will see how to disseminate that information, but we hope it will be like a launchpad for us.
This year's theme on this particular day about the Environmental Day is to beat plastic pollutions. Have you been doing anything in your group as a TBL Go Green in order to prevent the plastic pollutions?
Yes, if you go around and, for example, we have a very energetic team of youth in around Nyayo Hires who took upon themselves to set up a garbage separation unit. They invited us just to guide them on a few things, but we found that they were very knowledgeable already, and all they need is exposure so that they can get more support, not only from outside, but even from within their own environment where they live. So those are type of initiatives we want to replicate in estates, so that the initiative begins with the residents. And that is one area we would want to put effort, especially in the plastics challenge. And also we have a partner who's approached us wanting to have a partnership for recycling of plastic, but at a local level, not commercial industrial level. So we are in discussion with those what in Kenya you call like cottage level industry, small level where plastics collected can be go through the first process of recycling, which makes it easier for them to be transported to the actual recycling plants, and cuts the middle. We don't, at the end of the day, we also don't like to see these young boys walking around with plastics. Make even their job a bit cleaner. Yes, so we are in the space of supporting those who are doing it more than doing it ourselves as tenants become landlords. So it's to support those who are in that, the kids who are picking those plastics, how can we make it better for them? Those who are throwing away these plastics, how can we improve how they dump these plastics, and so forth and so forth, yeah.
Mr. Vance, we understand that plastic pollution is one of the major things which is affecting the environment, and so many people do not have the knowledge what they are doing. For example, you have talked about how they throw the plastic products, but there are so many people out here who doesn't know whether if I'm throwing this plastic bag, it will have an effect to anybody or to the environment. Do you have any plans of educating people on this particular day as we celebrate the Environmental Day, marking the theme that we beat the plastic pollution? Do you have any plans on educating people about the effects of these pollutions?
Yes, educating people is an ongoing process. And to begin with, I think TBL Go Green, the Go Green TV station, will go a long way in achieving that. But you're right, if you went to a street out here, everybody's throwing something, even if it's not during the day, at night, and stuff like that. So what we'll need to do is collaborate with, say, local governments and partners who can deliver those solutions by providing those garbage separation bins. If we had those at a regular interval, if I'm walking on a street and I see that, like if you go to the town center now, Nairobi City, people don't throw plastics on the road anymore because we have those places where you can deposit this rubbish. A few still do that, but very few. And those who do it mostly do it at night or on the weekends when they're not being watched. Because the cleaning is going on all the time and there are specific places to throw the rubbish. So it's up to the governments as well and partners to deploy some of these simple methodologies. And I think the population will now pick up as a habit. It's a win-win, and that's why we are talking to both tenants and landlords in this situation. Whereas the landlord is government, we're telling government, just do this, and the tenants will comply. And we're also telling the tenants, when the landlord does something, please comply. Don't throw rubbish next to the bin, throw it inside the bin. And if it's plastic, throw it in the plastic container. So, garbage separation.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Vance, before we take a break, and do you have ways of getting, you've talked about the youths, you've been cooperating with the youths in doing so many things to make sure that environment is clean, and do you have ways of getting to that old grandma in the village, old grandma who doesn't know the real meaning of pollution? Do you have any ways of getting to them and talking to them, maybe taking part in their ways and showing them how they should how they should dispose their plastic waste?
Yeah. First of all, government has done a lot in terms of policy making and the laws. So, and again, as a platform, we hope to be able to disseminate so that people understand that these laws exist. So that we are telling that person in the rural area that when you do this, you are going against the law. Some of them don't even know it's against the law. The beauty about the village is that very few people throw away plastic, for example, because they rear animals, cows and everything. So they don't want their cow to eat a plastic. So there's a natural ecosystem there that is self-disciplined. But you've got many other factors. When they have a funeral, when they have an activity, sports activity, when you go, you find a lot of litter after an activity.
Sure.
So all that comes into the purview of what we are saying, awareness and participation. So that if we were there, say with Go Green TV recording, let's not focus on the football alone. Let's focus on the environment, you know. I've seen a few tournaments where when you look at the next day, you can't believe, you think it's a dump site. Those people organizing those tournaments should take responsibility to clean the place. How will they do it? By involving the community. One, tell them not to throw things, give them a provision for where they should throw that, and make sure it is cleaned after the event. So there are small things which come down to responsibility, but one of our roles is to be the good and bad cop. We have to watch that, be able to tell guys, you're doing it right, you're doing it wrong, and help them get a solution. If it is if a solution can be provided by the landlord, if it's a government facility, or if it's just a partner. Like I would want every company that is selling water to take responsibility to collect their plastic. How do we achieve that? Through partnerships. So that is our role.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vance. To our view, we'll be getting back to you after a short break whereby we'll be discussing more on how to protect the aquatic life. Keep tuned.
Go Green Television. Green Vibes, Real Lives.
Welcome again, and thank you very much for tuning in our today's conversation whereby we are talking about the whole thing to do with environment. Today, as I said earlier, as I told you earlier, we are having a guest, and our guest today is Vance Udoto, who is the group's manager director, the TBL Go Green. So welcome again, Mr. Vance.
Thank you.
Mr. Vance, before we get into aquatic lives, what actions do you think the government should take in order to make sure that the environment is free from plastic pollution?
I think besides the existing policies, which are very good, and in fact, we should laud the government because we went from, the reduction was close to 80%. Only very few items are allowed to use plastic now. They could go further, but even to go further also has an economic impact where it reduces other businesses into being incapacitated to run their businesses. You know, what is strange today is like the guys who sell sugarcane on the road. You don't know what substitute you can give them if you don't kill their business, because their business is about the lowest retail. But there should be ways of controlling that. Self-regulation is one. Those who have to indulge in these plastics should be encouraged to develop self-regulation and to take responsibility and liability on when things go wrong. That's why I said earlier, for example, those who are allowed to use plastic bottles, especially the water manufacturers, should be also there should be an enforcement that they must assist in cleaning up where this garbage is dumped. A lot of companies have complied fully by eliminating plastics. Some have insisted on going on to plastic. There should be further regulation on where these plastics should actually be used. So I think government has done much, but they need to work more on improving partnerships up to the lowest level to create a lot of self-regulating structures, which if left to the residents, whom we are calling tenants, it falls loose. But if the government can come up with a mechanism of bringing the lowest possible level of coordination, then the tenants will comply. Yeah. And
before we move to the aquatic life, you've talked about the government creating partnership and to the lowest person. Talk of the person who has been collecting the plastic bags, the plastic polythene bags, the plastic bottles to sell them in order to earn a living. What solution do you think should be there in order to help that person? Because if we do away with the plastic, this person now becomes unemployed.
Yes, first of all is to create a very good process where their participation is recognized. If we have a self-regulating mechanism that recognizes their effort, then they'll be better supported, whether it's through payment or if they're recycling or anything, through collection of these materials. When we put those materials in a plastic separation or a garbage separation point, those people coming to collect have a purpose. So you'll have made their life cleaner, first of all. Sure. Okay? While you're making the environment cleaner as well. And then through that, now we can discuss why that assists in the Going Green initiatives. So it does not, we should not recognize that as a job the way it is. It's just a way of hustling to make ends meet, which is not good. We can make it cleaner for them, that they hustle in better environment. But most importantly, that we safeguard our own environment from the front.
Mm-hmm. Talk about the aquatic life concerning the global treaty which has been signed on beating plastic pollution. So what is your take on ways to prevent or to protect the aquatic lives?
I think, again, it's a very well-researched area where a lot of effort has gone. But just like any other of the efforts that's ongoing, we strongly believe that the involvement of the community is very important. Mm-hmm. And community begins with industry, it goes to individuals, it goes to just general practices, if it is bad behavior like I mentioned in sports or any other activity. And that's specifically why we positioned ourselves as tenants become landlords, to urge the people living in an environment to be the first role players of safeguarding that environment. Because otherwise the normal procedure of saying, hey, we should not throw plastic, we should not emit waste into our rivers, we should not do this, it ends up in our seas and kills our aquatic life. That is normal. That's now, everybody knows that happens. But if we stopped it at the tenants level, if we stop pollution from the industry level, into, if they don't pour that waste into that river, if we don't drop plastic, if it does not go into the river, it will not go to the ocean.
Sure. And
the ocean will be clean. And then, of course, there are very many other sustainable activities that need to be done. In terms of community involvement through trainings and regular engagement. Like I said, take it to the lowest. Make the lowest person in community responsible for where they are sitting and living. Hence our tenancy become landlords mantra, that we want to be talking to the tenant to think of how they can own their environment and respect what they are doing, where they're living. So the policies are there. We're in support. We can read all the papers in the world, but if we cannot actualize the policies, then it remains the same old story.
Mr. Vance, you've talked about the industries. If the industries do not dispose their waste into the water, they won't get to the oceans. Now, do you think there is a better way of these industries or manufacturing companies on disposing their waste?
Yes.
Not just the solid ones, even the liquid ones.
Yes, exactly. I think every industry is very well regulated on paper. So, again, how government enforces the policies and the laws around it is another issue. We know, for example, if you've seen what happens in the industrial area, big companies who bribe their way out of these situations, and they pollute every day. We should go there and shout and make sure it stops. That's part of our role. When I say we, it's we the tenants, because we are the ones suffering. So it's not activism, it's agitation. You know, we need to raise our agitation to levels where policies are in. We need to make people aware. So at TBL Go Green, we will have under environment a way of interpreting those laws and guiding people to understand how they should interpret those laws and how they should react when they see a violation. Because right now there's no mechanism, and if there's one, then it's being cut off because of either corruption or intimidation. But we will not be intimidated if we work together as tenants, so that we push for solutions. So, again, like I said, we can have a lot of policies, a lot of nice things, have all the conferences in the world, all the professors writing the best papers. Implementation is what's important.
Sure.
That's what we call the tenant.
Mr. Vance, as we wind up, you as the TBL Go Green, you're here to create awareness, to educate people on how to make sure that their environment is clean and on how to live in the best environment. So what is your call for climate action?
I think
that is a personal question as you,
yes,
Vance Udoto.
I've dedicated much of my time to see that the tenants become landlords. Go green mantra spreads. There's nothing that diverts my attention to that. I not only put in a lot of personal time or effort, but I believe in it. So my call is that we would like to work with like-minded people. They need to reach out to work with us as TBL Go Green Limited. We have a good website with just sufficient information for now, but growing. That's TBL Go Green at tblgogreen.co.ke. So if anybody can go into our website, they can start to understand most of those things. But I am personally pushing that we do a lot of community engagement at the lowest of levels, with a lot of collaboration with partners who are like-minded in the going green initiatives. And I feel challenged. I like to sleep on it and feel that there's a challenge I must drive, and the drive is to get the tenants and landlords talking to each other and solving these problems.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vance Udoto, for your time. We really appreciate. That was Mr. Vance Udoto, the Managing Director, TBL Go Green. And as we look forward to celebrate the World Environmental Day, he said that it's very important to come together, work together in order to ensure that our environment is clean. Because they say if we destroy the environment, we will destroy ourselves. So this is Go Green TV. My name is Caroline Zengela. Till next time. Bye-bye.
Go Green Television. Green vibes, real lives.